I want to call to order the Developers Workshop presentation by Jerry Helms and family regarding possible development at 10524, 10600, and 10608, and 10616 Lawyers Road. Mr. Helms is present. If you would give us your name and your address, please, sir, and then you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Jerry Helms. I live at 13008 Giovanni Way. That's off of Lebanon Road, right behind the Morris Business Park. I have added a couple of things to the dais, and if you got a minute, I'll try to follow this. I'm not very technical and don't have PowerPoint or vision to do that, but I will do the best I can at my age. But we're going to call this Mint Hill Meadows on Lawyers Road. And this is for seniors, which I will apply at 55 and older. Some of you can qualify, some of you can't. But I think about 20% of our residents in Mint Hill will qualify, and they want a ranch, one floor, and this is what we're proposing on our property. And we're looking to propose to build 90 patio homes. And I want to thank all of you, Mr. Mayor, and Mr. and Mrs. Commissioners and staff. My son is with me tonight, Brian, and my wife, Rachel, and they're my support team. And we're very proud to have this opportunity to present this tonight. And so feel free to ask questions. And I'll leave at least half my time for questions and answers when I go through this presentation. So, as I said, we're looking to add 90 units, and they're going to be ranch. Ranch means, as you see there, it's very much like the Traditions in Lawyers Glen, which have 106 units next door. And if you drive through there, you can't find one ever on sale because they go very quickly. I don't see any turnover in there, so that tells me what the market is and what people like me and some of you would like to have. And we don't need stairs to fall up or down or get hurt. So I think it's important that we provide this product, and I think it's an opportunity that we've been working on for over 10 years. And we do join that property, and the downtown overlay is what we designate as number of units that we can put per acre. And we are well under that at 3.6 units per acre. And if you look at the Traditions at 106 with the entrance and so forth, we're going to talk about that because they've got, it looks like almost 7 units per acre, and they're very tightly in there, but we're spreading it out a little bit. And we want to look at the security of it and what we think people want, and that's what we're here trying to deliver. So, as I said, we will have, in each unit will be 1,856 square feet on a ranch-style product. So we will be parking 2 cars in the garage and 2 on the outside and not on the street. So you'll have 2 cars in your own control and 2 in your driveway for visitors that won't have to park or hunt a parking place around your area like we have to do in some of the areas, over in Brighton Park. Parking on the street is very much at a premium, and we got a lot of things that we are trying to improve on for old folks. So the other thing that's unique about it is that the proximity of where we are, and when you say in real estate, it's about location, location, location. And the value of ranch and location to shopping is very appealing. and you know what the shopping centers are there that you can walk to, and the word walking is a very critical thing that we need to walk for exercise. And so making that available. The amenities that we're going to provide, we're going to put in a guard house or maybe a key operated like they have at the back there in front of the school at the keyed entrance or the arm. If you want to pay a guard to sit in a guardhouse, or you can have it look like the ones that in Matthews, where you just have somebody that it looks like they're in there, but it'll keep a lot of the problems, vagrants and things that come in there out of there. So that'll be up to a homeowner association to decide to pay the expense of a real guard there. If you need it, you can always switch to it. So that's a nice option. But that's one of the amenities. But we think the restaurants and things that it's nearby, you can walk to, you can get gas there, you can go to Harris Teeter for groceries. And there's a lot of things that we want that you can walk to, and this will provide that. And you see the layout is there's 7 duplexes and 19 quadruplexes. So that adds up to be 90 units. And I know density per unit is a question and a concern. And I know with the downtown overlay, we've been told that we're trying to make some changes for more housing and density because Mint Hill, like it or not, is one of the hottest developments in the Carolinas. And the growth, whether you like it or not, is coming. And it's here already. And we're trying to provide some attractive housing with all the amenities that people want. And that's the attempt we're making here. When you can go there and walk to most everything you need on this side of the highway out there at Lawyers. But Lawyers, if you go down Lawyers Road and where you turn in, we think that this is a very desirable location. We have that pond in the middle of our property, and we're not going to put a swimming pool in. The hottest thing I think now, and I think I read it, Brian, in some of your proposals for amenities that people want, pickleball. That's what old folks, even 55 and older, are playing today. And swimming pools are not used. They're number one, they're dangerous, and they're not being used. And we think pickleball would be a great replacement of where we had a pool designed on this property years ago. But we're taking that out and putting in a couple pickleball courts and a gazebo where you can have picnics around it. And you'll also have enough parking there for about 24 people that'll drive up there rather than walk up there for waiting to get a pickleball court or having a picnic. So I think it's going to be a nice amenity that we're going to add to this. And the duplexes are down in the roundabout. And there's a couple up there closer to the clubhouse. We are going to have a clubhouse. And a clubhouse will have the conveniences of a kitchen, and you could have parties there, bathrooms there, and celebrations for anniversaries, and some of us have those, and birthdays. We all have a birthday, whether we like it or not. And I just had my wife's 80th birthday, and about died, and went to that hospital that we were showing, and they saved my life. And I'm very proud of having a location near a medical facility and living in a house where I won't fall or get hurt. And so if you look at the demand for this product, it's very, very high. And so I'm willing to accept any suggestions or ideas that you have, but we're here for anything we can do to answer your questions. If you've had a chance to look at that, look at it briefly, and if you can read it.
Commissioner Long, questions or comments at this time?
No, sir.
Commissioner Holton?
So from what I see here, there's just one connection going across the creek right there. So there's no public greenway space or anything. Is that correct?
No, there are. If you look at those trails, walking, and we're going to have paved walking trails and a bridge that'll come over the Greenway. Brian, I think you've seen and talked about that a lot with the steep going down to the creek, or the Greenway as we call it, Urban Creek. We are going to provide a walk and not something for a car or a golf cart, unless that ever becomes a convenience in town for old folks to move around and go to the grocery store. They do that down at Indian Land places. But, we're building this that the people that live there will enjoy it, and we're working on all those things.
And I think that my thing, I mean, it's density.
Pardon?
My biggest concern is density
Density?
with this project, and we're working on the land use plan right now.
I know you are.
So until I know exactly what this property is going to be zoned as, if it stays as an R and not in the downtown overlay, it's not something I'm willing to change.
Well, I might suggest, if you look at the partial that we are on, we are in the downtown overlay district partially, not always. I think, Brian, you notice this, that we are buttoned up to it now.
You
If
touch
look-
it, you're not in it, you touch it,
We touch it.
touch it.
Right, just one of your boundary lines
Yeah,
touches.
that's right, that's
Yeah,
right.
you're not into that.
No, we're not in it, but we do butt up to it. That's all I'm trying to say, and I've marked that on there.
Yeah, it's on
Because the red is my property line, and the downtown overlay is also on there. But the overlay, I think, even calls for 6, is that right, density? Well, if you notice this is going to be 3.6 units per acre, so I hope that will answer your question. Even if we do this and don't include what you're saying, we can stay under that 4.8 or 5 or whatever you're going to make it.
That's if it's in the downtown overlay.
Whether it is or not, no. Pay attention. What I'm trying to say, I'm maybe not very
I'm paying
clear.
attention to it, but what I'm saying is right now, it's not in the downtown overlay. And with the new land use plan, I don't know if it's in the downtown overlay or not.
But if it's less than what, will you allow it?
Well, right now, it's zoned for R, correct? Which is what? Low density
4 per acre?
or low density?
2,
2.
20,000 square foot lots to be exact.
Okay, half acre lots. Okay.
So,
That's what it's zoned for currently. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's
I'm
good.
done.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem.
If you would, please go back over, how many houses were going to be, the total number of ranch houses?
All are 90 altogether, ranch-style houses, all one level. 7 duplexes and 19 quadruplexes, just like you've got in the Traditions next door.
So all single story?
Yes, sir, that's what a ranch style is, not a double. It's not any stairs you're gonna fall up or down.
Okay. The rest of my questions are the same as what Patrick had, so I'm good.
Okay.
Commissioner Henderson.
Just one question. So there's one proposed entrance into the development.
The main entrance will be on the extreme right-hand side there that butts up to the neighbors next door. And that, if you see that on the extreme, as you look at it, it's to my left, I guess, you see it on the right, the paving is, and that's been approved by the fire department and so forth as far as access and turnaround. They've looked at it and gotten their blessing.
Any other questions or concerns? All right, at this point in time, I want to make a statement on the property. Property is currently zoned R, residential, 20,000 square foot lots. The board has not approved the land use plan at this point in time. We expect to do it shortly. We're in the process of getting that done. However, there's been no conversation at this point in time by this board to increase the size of the downtown overlay area. So for you to get to the unit count that you're looking at this point in time, we would have to take that property into the downtown overlay area to keep it in line with what we're currently doing. I'm not in favor of that. I don't want to increase the size of the downtown area. I understand it's the next property and you abut to that. But there's so many people, probably some in this audience out here, who also have a piece of property that abuts to the downtown overlay. If we start increasing the downtown area, then we get caught up in a vicious cycle that never stops. And we add we did a study on this a few years back when I was on the planning board. I think that number's in the 200-acre area or something like that, where we would increase the size of the downtown area by 200 acres, and I'm not at all in favor of that. It takes away the downtown area field if it just becomes a whole spread out thing where we allow everything. So I'm not in favor of this plan, and I want you to know that before you spend a bunch of money on it, that I would not vote in favor of this
Well, I've
point in
been
time.
paying the taxes on it for 30 years.
And I understand that.
I'll continue to do that until someday we give it to you or somebody that'll pay the taxes, because we can't continue to do that.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you, when you bought it, it was zoned R, and it's still zoned R. So we have not made any changes since the day that you bought it. So
Well,
that would be my thought on the property. So if anybody else would like to share their thought on the property with Mr. Helms before we close his workshop, we've got about 3 minutes.
I agree.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing. I think there's developers out there that would develop this land in R per code.
well, I'm not sure at today's prices, and even what I could even put a price tag on it, because if everything is going up like fuel and copper and lumber and everything it takes to build a house, I don't know what you would be able to price them at. It's hard to do. I know you got some townhomes up the street that are townhomes and single family in the 300s, 400s, I don't know, but on True Light Church Road, you got houses in there that appraise from 200 to 600. And if you're an appraiser or developer, you got to stay within limits and what people want. It's no need to buy and build if you can't make a profit. You go out of business real quick.
Well, what price are you looking to sell these 1,856 square foot homes that are proposed here?
I would like to stay in the 300 to 400 range.
And that's the thing. There's four to $450,000 townhomes up the road that are selling out as we speak. So
How does that happen? Why do they want it?
people will buy it, and that's just it.
That's right.
All right, we got about 2 minutes left because I'm going to start my meeting on time. So I would ask that each commissioner share with Mr. Helms if you're in support of this plan or not in support of this plan as it appears today. Commissioner Henderson.
Based on what I'm hearing right now, I'm not in support at this time.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton.
No.
Commissioner Holton.
No, sir.
Commissioner Long.
No, sir, it doesn't fit the zoning.
Mr. Helms, we thank you for your time.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to working with you in the future.
Okay.
I will now close the developers workshop. At this time, we'll start our regular monthly board meeting in about, looks like 2 minutes. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the town of Mint Hill, North Carolina, April 14th, 2022. We do have a quorum present. I would ask Mayor Pro Tem Dalton to lead us in their invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this evening. Thank you for allowing us to be able to get together, Lord, discuss the issues of our town. We ask that you be with us and guide us through this. Give us the wisdom, Lord, the decisions that we make are the best for this town. It's in your precious name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'd please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3 is approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2022 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further conversation? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I passed over number 3, sorry. Additions, deletions, or arrangements of agenda items. The only addition is under the consent agenda, and I'll read it out loud shortly. Item number 5 is the consent agenda. A, accept the March tax collector's report. B, approve speed limit reduction for Grove Hall Avenue. C, accept Mint Hill events request for a noise ordinance waiver during Mint Hill Madness. D, authorize town manager to execute contract for LED sports lighting project. E, approve reduction of speed limit in Ash Plantation and Pleasant Valley neighborhoods. F, authorize town manager to execute agreement with CARPO for traffic planning study. G, approve speed limit reductions for Forest Brook neighborhood. And H, we're accepting the February and the March treasurer's reports and financials.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any conversation? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6. I'll now open the public hearing on ZC 22-2 filed by John Street LLC for conditional rezoning to allow a subdivision consisting of 83 single-family lots for property located at 6412 Matthews Mint Hill Road, tax parcel number 195-182-42. Is the applicant present? Yes. You'll please come to the podium and give us your name and your address, and then you have the floor.
All right. I'm Margaret Puckett. I think it's 6325 Audrey Kell. We're in Suite 205 in Charlotte.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor Simmons, Mayor Pro Tem, town staff, and members of the public. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Margaret Puckett. I'm Vice President of Land Acquisition for TriPoint. TriPoint Homes is a developer and a residential for-sale builder. Hold on, I started before I realized I don't have a clicker up here. You got it. Can I just hit enter? Okay. All right. Our mission is simple. We're in the life-changing business dedicated to designing homes, neighborhoods, and experiences that inspire and uplift our customers, our team members in the communities that we serve. Life that inspires homes, homes that inspire life is our toughest mission and highest calling. I take this part pretty seriously. There's no other job out there that I can think of that impacts people the way that we can. Building a home, you think about bringing home a new baby, sending your child off to college. There's so many things that happen at home that touch your heart and your everyday. And we get to be a part of building that community. Today, here we go. Today, TriPoint, we're active in the region, and we have been for about 3.5 years. We're active all the way up to Kannapolis, Mooresville, Davidson, and all the way down south into South Carolina, York County as well, and in the city of Charlotte. We're a different kind of home builder. You can see that by some of these local design capabilities on this slide. We design our homes specifically to cater to markets where we're active. The home in the bottom left-hand corner stands out to me because it's really different. It's in Las Vegas, where modern and kind of clean lines are a thing. We would not build that home in Mint Hill. It doesn't fit with Mint Hill. We would build homes that are consistent with what Mint Hill wants to see. We have requirements in Mint Hill that we would have to build and adhere to. Our interior design images are shown above. We tend to build a quality home inside and allow our customer to pick and choose the things that are important to them. That primary bath, making sure it's got all the widgets inside and everything from a doorknob to cabinet hardware is something that our homeowner gets to choose. We're proposing 83 home sites at Alton Creek, which is located on Highway 51 and Phyllis Lane, very close to the Queens Grant School. Our product in this neighborhood will consist of homes that are range from 2,600 square feet to 3,000 square feet, and our pricing is anticipated in the high 400s into the 5s. Included an image of our entrance monument, and I've also included just the highlights of Mint Hill's product requirements, which again, we will adhere to. Our next slide is some of our product images. Now, these are renderings, so two-dimensionally, I don't think these really do the justice that they will be in real life. These homes will be high-quality homes, consisting, again, of the quality and the design that Mint Hill requires us to build. Some of the road improvements on Highway 51 and Phyllis Lane have been a pain for Mint Hill for a long time. It's taken TriPoint to come to the table to fix what we call the dip on 51 and Phyllis Lane. Currently, the road profile goes down, and it makes it really difficult for traffic that's coming in and out of Queens Grant to consistently flow through there. We're coming in, and part of Mint Hill's requirements, but also for us to be able to proceed with this project, I think it's about a $700,000 bill to improve the Mint Hill and Phyllis Lane dip. Additionally, we're adding about 350 feet of turn lane to allow for better traffic flow in and out of the Queens Grant School. TriPoint has also been in personal communication with the Philadelphia Presbyterian Cemetery. I'm in conversation with a gentleman named Harry Wood. Harry is involved with the Historic Preservation Committee at the church, and TriPoint has offered to continue along the historic cemetery the aluminum fencing that Queens Grant started on one side. It's only about one way down, so we're going to complete the entire cemetery so that kids maybe from our neighborhood are not running in through a historical cemetery. So that is one thing that we're doing to give back to the community and make sure that we're doing our part. Additionally, Queens Grant, our southern neighbor, and I'm going to go down to, there we go. Queens Grant has actually wrote us a letter and has supported us through this project. One of the things that they mentioned this past week was they have asked us to provide connectivity through a trail system. It's very hard to see, but at the very bottom of this site plan, there's a little red line by lot 28. We're going to propose a trail that will allow connectivity into Queens Grant. So if we do have any walkers or bike riders through our community, it will hopefully alleviate some of the traffic on the road. A parent can walk down to the end of the court, make sure their child gets across the field and into school. Lastly, we've had numerous conversations with homeowners on Hood Ridge Lane and Hollow Oak Drive. We work in over a dozen municipalities in the Charlotte region, and in this specific case, we are following and adhering to Mint Hill's ordinances. While we recognize and understand that many of these homeowners in these two neighborhoods have enjoyed trees and wooded buffers behind them for many decades, and now the property is being redeveloped, and it's hard. Change is difficult. TriPoint's committed to working with these homeowners on solutions from additional landscape screening, hazardous tree removal, and any possible site restrictions that we can provide within our proposed layout. Individual homeowners that are in attendance this evening, we're here to listen and find ways that we both can benefit from this project. We can't save all the trees, and we really can't lose home sites. It's just not a financial option for us. But we do want to be good neighbors and find solutions that will benefit both groups, Tri-Point and adjacent neighbors. And that concludes my spiel about Tri-Point, and happy to answer any questions this evening if there are any.
Commissioner Henderson, we'll start at this end. You're in this time.
Not at this point.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton, any questions?
No.
Commissioner Hilton?
No, sir.
Commissioner Long?
Have you been in contact, you mentioned the Hood Ridge, what about Farmwood East?
Yes, so there's numerous neighbors in Farmwood East that have reached out to us. We've specifically walked home sites in Farmwood East. We've been staking, and we're in the process of understanding the buffers and the trees that are been requested to save. How can we work with adjacent neighbors? And I would say there's probably about 8 to 12 homes that we've had individual conversations with.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can back up. You got another question?
Well, it was just, I just wanted it on the record mainly for the public here. The way that property is zoned, being in the downtown, it's, your density is well under, correct?
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yes, we are at a 2.91 density per acre, which is well below what is proposed or required or allowed in that downtown area.
And then I know that we had talked about it before, but what's the estimated average cost per house back?
Yeah, well, it's an evolving thing because pricings do continue to rise, but we anticipate we'll be in the high 400s into the low 5s in this location.
Okay.
And
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
We do have some people that have signed up to speak to this public hearing. Some of you may have thought you signed up to speak to this public hearing, but you really signed up under public comments. The good news is public comments follow public hearing, so you're still going to get to speak. So don't get upset at me over a technicality because everybody's going to get their chance to speak. The only person that we do have signed up, though, to speak under this particular item is Marty Pearsall. And if you'll come to the podium, give us your name and your address, please, officially for the record, sir, and then you have the floor.
Yeah, my name is Marty Pearsall. I live at 6401 Hollow Oak Drive in Farmwood East. And my wife, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to address you tonight, okay? This is a very important issue, I think, for all of us. And I and my neighbors are not against this project. We just think it needs some modifications, particularly at the narrowest point, which I guess we would call the choke point, between the school and the red lines back there. You know, I want to congratulate Margaret on a nice presentation. It looks like a nice project, but we just think it needs a couple modifications to it. My wife, Darcel, and I have lived here for 26 years. My daughter went to Bain, Mint Hill Middle, Independence, and Butler. Again, we're not against this development. We all knew that the town was going to grow and that land would be developed at some point in time. We all know that, and I don't think any of my neighbors or I are against this thing. We just want to talk a little bit about it. It affects our property values, and we'd like to have some input. This site plan, I've taken some pictures, and I think John has some pictures of the. I'm concerned about the trees in the back. If you look at that site plan, the zoom in on the site plan, these trees run along the red line on the back of that site plan in front of the retaining wall. These are 60, 65-foot high poplars and oaks. They run all the way down the line from 63 through 67 on their site plan. Currently, there's a 10-foot buffer between those trees and the undisturbed ground. Past that, you have another 7.5 feet before a retaining wall is being built. 5 feet high at its highest point, goes down to 4 feet. 40 yards long, okay? Almost half of a football field, a retaining wall. Right in front of those trees. 7.5 feet behind the retaining wall are the house pads. These trees, their drip lines, go 25 to 30 feet. The proposed construction inside these drip lines will destroy these trees. All along the border, in the back part, if you look at that one picture right there, the back part of the construction, there are very large oak trees and very large poplar trees. These were planted many, many years ago, probably as a border for an old farm or whatever. They run all the way down the property line. If you look at pad number 65, if you look directly north or directly west up to the school, that's the choke point. That's the narrowest point of this project. Right behind there is the highest part of that retaining wall. How are they going to build the footings, the footers for the retaining wall without disturbing all the roots of these trees? How many trees are like this left in Mint Hill? Trees this size, trees that are worth protecting. Consider the drip lines in these trees. And it's not part of the packet. I'm going to give you a packet, each of you, that you can look at part of this. But I contacted Matthews and Weddington today regarding what they do to protect their trees. And they basically gave me their guidelines, and I can email it to you. What it boils down to is they protect from the drip lines. And if you need to do any construction, you need to fence everything off, you need to preserve the ground, you need to really take care of these older trees. And I think that's what we should be doing here. Now, when the Tri-Point folks were out there a few days ago, last week, they said, oh, we're doing everything the town expects us to. Fine. I'm sure they are, otherwise they wouldn't be here. But sometimes you need to do a little more. Now, their density is nice, okay? It's less than what it's supposed to be. It looks like it's going to be a nice development. But how are you going to protect these trees? Now, 4 or 5 years from now, they build these houses, they destroy these root systems, these trees start to die. Who's going to pay to cut them down? They're gone. The houses are built. They told me half a dozen times, oh, yeah, we're following the rules, we're following the rules. Okay, okay. One of the things that we're also concerned about is that retaining wall. We've had some problems with water previously. When they built the charter school, we were told, oh, no, we got the water situation under control. There's no problem, no problem. Well, and my neighbors will attest to this, we had major water issues after that school was built, taking all those trees out. And they put their retaining ponds in, and they did all what they had to do. We had one neighbor lost 3 large oak trees, myself and my next door neighbor, Dale Schmidt. We have water coming down like a waterfall when you have heavy rain coming out of those woods. Now what's going to happen? These retaining walls are supposedly going to push this water off to retaining pools, okay? I don't know. You see, if you look at that diagram, you see that retaining wall, they're retaining something. I think they got too many houses in front of that retaining wall. That's the narrowest part of this project. They need to push that whole thing up about 25 or 30 feet. This will protect the trees. Maybe they won't even have to buy a retaining wall. Now, they may have to take a couple lots out, straighten that road out. If you look at my crude design there, I drew a green line where the road should be. What I feel. Now, I'm not an engineer. I'm not an architect. I'm a retired sales and marketing guy. But I know common sense. And they're trying to put too much in that choke point. They need to cut the density back. I'm saying take out 2 lots, 18 and 19, push that whole road up. They lose 2% of their housing. 2 lots. Put a parking up there with some trees and a bench. My main concern is the trees. I have some of my neighbors are concerned about the water. I'll let them talk about that. But I would just appreciate you, before you vote on approving this, come out, walk around. Tawana came out, she walked around. The rest of you, come out and walk around. Margaret, you were out there. People draw these plans. They sit in an office. They don't come out and look. They don't look at the land. They look at a plat. Oh, we can put this here, this here, this here, and this here. Let's put a retaining wall in. not realizing how close it is to that property border and how you're going to destroy that whole tree line. I'm just asking for some modifications. It looks like a nice project. I hope they sell all their houses, and I'm sure they will. But just make it fit in aesthetically with the rest of our neighborhood, Farmwood East. We've all been there for 25, 26 years. We love the town. We want to see a successful development behind us. It'll help us. And I just ask for your consideration. Come look at it. Come physically look at it before you vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will now close the public hearing on ZC 22-2. This time we'll go to item number 7, which is public comments. I have 6 people signed up for public comments, and they may carry over into the others. So public comments are public comments. We ask that each one of you try to limit your comments under this section to approximately 2 minutes each. Mr. Pearsall, you're listed here again. Did you have
Yeah.
something else that you wanted to say at this time? While he's handing that out, the next person on the list is Mark Little. You will come to the podium, give your name and your address, please, and then you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Mark Little, 6421 Hollow Oak Drive. Live 2 doors down from Marty in Farmwood East. My biggest concern about this development is the drainage. When the school was built, its retention pond drained straight through the woods, through the Lat Purser property, pretty much into our backyard. The town and/or Mecklenburg County came in and put a catch basin at the rear of our property and piped it all the way down the property line to alleviate that. I don't think it's coincidence that since that occurred, actually, the oak trees that we lost, luckily for us, were actually on Lat Purser's property, and they fell westward and not into our property, which was fortunate. But we've lost several on the path of that water as it flows down, as it discharges from the retention pond down towards our property. So I just want to make sure that whatever's done out there with the additional impervious surface that the community will bring, that we get good drainage. I don't know how much that catch basin in their plan is designed to catch from the new development, and whether anything else will be piped or whether it'll just be swales that'll channel the water. I know they've addressed it, but I just want to make it clear that we have a big concern from prior history of what's happened to some huge trees that, due to erosion of roots and saturated soil, fell, as I said, luckily inward in that property, but it could have come just as, on us, or if any homes get built in there on a new house. So that's really all I had was drainage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next person on the list is Dale Schmidt. You'll give us your name and your address, please, and then you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Dale Schmidt. I live at 6321 Hollow Oak Drive, right next to Marty. Thanks for the opportunity to come and speak. And it looks like you guys have designed a great neighborhood. And again, I just want to echo Marty's comments. We're not against the neighborhood. I moved in about 7 years ago, and I always knew that there was going to be something back there, and I'm glad that it's going to be something with nice, beautiful homes, lower density than what you guys require. I just have a couple concerns about the storm water. When we get like a 50-year storm event or even a 25-year storm event, my backyard floods to where I had to redo the crawl space and dig a ditch to push it kind of towards my driveway. And with the impervious area that is proposed, that no matter what is designed to catch the storm water runoff, there's still going to be issues there. I'm certain of it. Then the only other concern that I had is I have some really large trees that are on my property. I measured them before I came out here. One of them was 48 inches in diameter. It is maybe 13 or 14 feet from the footings or from the retaining wall where it's staked out now. So if there's any footings that are excavated with mechanical excavation, if they use a mini excavator or track hoe to dig those footings out, which they probably will, the root system is going to be damaged, and I don't want to be stuck with having to cut down a 48-inch oak tree that's behind my house 5 to 7 years from now, that's on my property, that's perfectly healthy right now. So that's just my two concerns.
Very
Thank you
good.
very
Thank
much.
you, sir. Next on the list is Ed Abel.
Thank you.
Name and address, please, for the
Yes.
record, sir.
Edward Abel, 6812 Heath Glen Drive in Mint Hill. I have a question regarding this project as was presented. Basically has to do with aesthetics. Now, I looked quickly and I think there were just 5 available elevations. I want to know whether this company have planned on any restrictions with respect to the elevation of the homes, so it doesn't look like tract housing. For example, if somebody wants to purchase one type of elevation with the garage on the left, will somebody else in the next lot, for example, have the same house with the garage on the left? Or as I personally been used to, it may be the same elevation, but they'll put the garage on the right, just so it doesn't look like tract housing, and whether or not they have any plans to basically to prevent a tract housing look.
Okay, if you'll get with them after the meeting, I'm sure they'll get that information to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the list is Karen Tronner. You would please give us your name and your address, and then you have the floor.
Karen Tronner, 8835 Brigadier. Hi, everybody. Good to see you again. Got a question. I know you don't have to respond, but the question is for something I read in last month's minutes about Commissioner Long and CMS, and about how they have over $400 million from the ARPA money, and Mint Hill and Huntersville are in a difficult position because of the 2018 Municipal Act, which, if you don't know, was regarding the possibility of setting up our own charter school district following the passage of HB 514 into SL 2018-3. The other 3 towns that were named originally in that bill have since made their peace with CMS. Huntersville and Mint Hill were not. So I'm wondering if we are going to get the full amount of money that we should get to work on our schools. And also, I know that you all, with the exception of Commissioner Henderson, probably know about this because I've emailed you all, and I've come and I've spoken here about this situation before, and it's in the official minutes, so this is not news to you. But now that we actually have a concrete something that CMS is going to do that we may or may not be adequately compensated for on the level of the other towns, what are you going to do to fix that? That's it.
Thank you very much. And last on my list is Pamela Dalton.
No comment.
I thought that might be the case, but I wasn't sure. Thank you very much. Item number 8, discussion and decision on ZC 22-1 filed by Hatisha Mike, conditional rezoning to request a change in zoning from residential to residential CD to allow a residential assisted living for seniors for property located at 8025 Wilson Woods Drive, tax parcel number 137-07-624. The applicant has requested a deferral on that at this time. Item number 9, presentation on 2023 Mecklenburg County property reevaluation process. Is Mr. Fowler with us? If you'll give us your name and address, sir, you have the floor, and welcome.
Thank you. My name is Brad Fowler. I'm with the Mecklenburg County Assessor's Office, Freedom Drive. So first of all, thank you all for having us, members of the board, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to give you all a quick update on the 2023 revaluation, as well as just kind of talk through a little bit of that process. So with that said, some of this you may all be aware of. Some of this, or for those of you who may be new, this might be something something you'll learn from it. First thing is, why do we do revaluation? Revaluation is conducted due to General Statute 105-286, which says that all counties in the state of North Carolina must conduct a reappraisal at least once every 8 years. Our last reappraisal in Mecklenburg County was in 2019. At that time, the county commission, in conjunction with the county assessor as well as executive county leadership, made the decision to advance that cycle to a 4-year cycle. There are a multitude of reasons that we do that. The three here are the main three. Values and assessments obviously will stay closer to current market levels. From 2011 to 2019, if you remember back, there was a very large swing in valuation. So this tries to mitigate that best we can by shortening that cycle. It allows us to keep the public more involved and engaged in the process. You'll see as I go through some of the slides, some of those engagements that we're currently doing with our communities. And also, or the last thing, the values and assessments will stay closer to market. The purpose of the revaluation is to redistribute the property tax base. Things in Mint Hill may not grow at the same rate that things in Uptown would grow. Commercial property may not grow at the same rates as residential property. And so when we revalue, we're simply trying to set that fairness and equity across those different property spectrums, either locationally or by type. It says also at the bottom here, a revaluation is not a means to raise property tax revenue. As this board is well aware, we simply set an assessed value. It will be up to you all for your independent jurisdictions to make the determination of the rate. So some of our progress currently, there are 397,000 parcels in Mecklenburg County. We expect by January 1 of 2023, that number will be over 400,000. We have completed an initial review on 89% of those parcels thus far. And by initial review, just mean that we will go back and look at all these parcels again. A revaluation is a very iterative process that we're in. And things are, as you all know, continually changing right now in our market. This is just a map showing you some of that progress that has been made. Based on the sales that we have qualified in our office, which is through the end of 2021 at this point, so there's still those 2022 sales that are not part of this. The median sales price on residential homes is $376,120. And the sales ratio, what that is simply how close is our assessment in our revaluation file to that is at 99.6% of that market value of those properties, excuse me. Going to talk just a minute about a couple of the key things that we have to do within our office as part of the revaluation. The first is our neighborhood delineation process. In the simplest of terms, that's just breaking down Mecklenburg County into various neighborhoods. So we're comparing properties based on their location, obviously, and values, things of that nature. Just breaking the county up into those manageable market areas makes it easier for us to be able to assess. Also, sales are a big part. You can see that qualified sales in Mecklenburg County have been fairly consistent over the last several years at around 25,000 to 26,000 sales per year. Once again, those are just qualified transactions, those arm's length transactions that we're looking for when we're conducting a reappraisal. Talk a little bit about the community efforts. The first thing is our Citizens Review Committee. In 2019, the Board of County Commissioners wanted to have an independent Citizens Review Committee to review our policies and procedures within the office. And so they appointed a 9-member panel, which they have done again for this revaluation, highly qualified individuals from across the county. We began our first meeting in March. We've had one already in April. We have one next week. And those meetings will conclude in December of 2022. Their role, once again, is just to review our overall operations. They study statistical reports, as well as any appraisal methods that we've used. They monitor our progress. We give them periodic updates on where we're at. And then ultimately, we'll report any conclusions or recommendations to our Board of County Commissioners. Our communication plan, it's all encompassing. We have a very robust communication plan in the assessor's office following the 2011 revaluation. It was apparent that that really needed to be ramped up and has been that way since Ken Joyner came on board as our county assessor. So our 2023 revaluation communication plan, very similar to 2019. We have added a few things, but once again, it talks everything from billboards that we're going to put up around the revaluation to speaking engagements like tonight, our revaluation brochure, which will look very similar to, or which does look very similar to our 2019. Some small things that we're doing, for instance, on our brochure, we've added a QR code now, so folks can simply click and go to our website. Some of the meetings that we've conducted, we started, our first meeting was in September of last year, and you can see that there was just kind of a few trickling in, and they have definitely ramped up. This is the third municipality that I've come to at this point, but you can see they've definitely ramped up, and we plan on that just continuing to grow as we move towards that effective date of reappraisal. And here are some of the ones that we have coming up, obviously you all tonight. We put this slide in just to kind of set the tone as far as most everyone in the community understands that the real estate market right now is very hot. Realtor.com is rated as the third hottest across the country in Charlotte. And so obviously a lot of that will translate as we're trying to establish market value within Mecklenburg County. Some of the technology for our citizens, our property record card tool. It's a vital piece for not only for our office, but for our community. You simply enter in your name, address, whichever, and you're able to pull up your parcel. It will show you a map as well as the photo of your property. Down at the bottom of this screen, I always like to bring people's attention. There's a lot of things that you can look up, from land values, building values, but there's also a section down there that says Compare. And that Compare button will allow someone to click, and they can then see comparable properties that are selected for their property. So they have an idea of what was utilized. It's not it doesn't tell the whole story, but at least gives them an idea so they know whether or not that's in line. I would also say that as your folks in this community use these tools, if they see something incorrect on their property record card, please contact our office. There are 400,000 parcels. I have 40 some odd appraisers on my staff. It is a daunting task, so we will take any assistance if you have it. Modria is our online appeals application. It was up in 2019. That will be coming back online in the fall of 2022. We're making some enhancements. Majority of that would just be more focused around internal enhancements to make it a little bit more efficient for us. Worked well and is a good way for our community to talk back and forth with us during the appeals process. So as we've gone through a lot of those community meetings, the biggest thing that has come up is relief. Is there any property tax relief? And the answer from our office is we are really tied to what the state allows for us. We cannot abate property taxes by law. And so the only thing that we can offer are a couple programs. I wanted to make you aware of those quickly tonight. The first one, and both of these that I'll talk about, the application period is January 1 through June 1. I will also tell you, if you know someone that qualifies for one of these programs and they miss that June 1st deadline, come see us. We have a mechanism in place. We will do all we can. If someone qualifies, we want them in these programs. The first one, though, is our elderly exemption program. It allows for a property owner to receive 50% off of the tax assessment, so basically cutting the tax bill in half. They have to be the owner as of January 1st, must be obviously North Carolina resident, be at least 65 years of age, and there is an income requirement of $31,900. That number is adjusted annually. So if you were applying for this year, your 2021 income could not exceed $31,900. Our second is our disabled veterans or homestead exclusion. First $45,000 of assessed value is marked off in this one. There is no age or income requirement on this one, but you do have to be an honorably discharged veteran and 100% disabled, so there is a medical form that you have to fill out. Down at the bottom is our application, or it's our phone number. You can call and get an application. We have folks on staff that will be glad to help folks fill those out, or certainly you can come by our offices and we will do the same. And the last thing is, these are just kind of the key dates. We've already talked about the community engagement piece. We also talked about our citizen review committee. We will be finalizing values in late December and going through the very first part of January. Those valuation notices will be mailed to property owners at the end of January. Our informal appeal period will begin shortly thereafter, once those get to your mailbox, basically. And then our appeal time will run all the way and through our Board of Equalization and Review adjourning, which will be sometime in May. We haven't set a specific date just yet. And then finally, in July of 2023, at the end of July, property tax bills based on those new assessments will be sent. And with that, I will take any questions that you have.
Commissioner Long?
No, sir. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Is this online where public can look at it?
It is.
Okay, that's all.
Commissioner Henderson?
The entire presentation is online?
Yes, the only part that you won't see there is just the meetings because there's change, but the substance of it, yeah, it's there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to take time to thank you for making your way out to Mint Hill and
Yep.
for the county for keeping us informed of what's going on. I'm sure we'll have some questions in the future as citizens bring them to us, but I certainly do appreciate you being here this
Yeah.
evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Y'all have a good night.
Item 10, other business and council matters. Commissioner Henderson.
The only thing, as the liaison for the Historical Society, of course, they've got their rodeo that's coming up next weekend. Also, they got a lot of good press, the new Mint Hill magazine that came out, that the barn was actually on the cover of that magazine, so that was a big win. They also were featured on WBTV QC at 3. Sue Todd and Elizabeth Griffin were interviewed, so was able to get some good press and some good footage for Mint Hill.
Good. Great. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Dalton.
This is for a community interest. The Masonic Lodge will be having a fish fry, the first one in 2 years, April 30th. If you would like to come out and support that, please.
Commissioner Holton.
No, sir. Everything's good.
Commissioner Long.
It's exciting to see a room full of citizens. It's something I've hoped for years, and I'm thankful that you folks felt that our town was important enough to show up. I would encourage you as we enter this holiday weekend to really be careful in your automobiles. That's the most dangerous thing we do, all of us, every day. So please be careful and enjoy it, and good to see you. Thank you.
And I want to echo that. It's great to see people out, see the room full of people, that citizens are interested. And one of the things that I really enjoyed before I was mayor, when I came to these meetings, we were able to identify and recognize our Boy Scouts. And for the first time in a long, long time, they're back in the room. So if I could get the Boy Scouts and their leaders to come forward, if they wouldn't mind at this time, and let the public see you, let them know that you're still active. And I'm going to ask each of you to give us your name and then tell us what you're working on at this time. Or one of the leaders can do that as well. Absolutely, please do. You guys have done this more than I have. I was just a participant watching at the time, so.
My name is Jim White. I'm the Merit Badge Counselor for Citizenship and Community Merit Badge and for Communications Merit Badge. And each of these merit badges require the youth to come in and attend the meeting, listen to some of the discussion, and make some comments about what the discussion meant and all of these kinds of things. And so that's why I'm here. This is our Scoutmaster. I'll let him introduce himself, and all the boys can tell you who they are.
That's okay, I don't need a microphone. I'm John Boyd, I'm Scoutmaster of Troop 65. We actually meet at Philadelphia Presbyterian, and twice a year we do a graveyard cleanup at the historic graveyard that she showed in her presentation. There's also another old one off of Brief Road on the way towards the athletic fields. Anyway, we're an active troop. We've been active all through COVID, giving the boys an opportunity to learn things, get outside, get out in the woods, get some exercise, learn a lot of different skills. And these ones are here just learning about citizenship, community, and communication, which we had some good examples of tonight.
My name is Pierce Porter. I'm from Troop 65, and I'm working on the Communications Merit Badge.
Might give you a rank too.
I am Star Rank, which is 2 away from people.
My name is Holden Smith. I currently came here tonight to work on a Communications Merit Badge requirement. I am the Assistant Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 65. I am working on my Eagle right now. I'm currently a life rank.
Hi, my name is Nathaniel Kinney. I'm Star Rank currently. Tomorrow I have my Scoutmaster Conference for Life Scout, which is 1 away from Eagle. And right now, I'm working on my citizenship in the community merit badge.
Come prepared.
My name is Robert Kinney, somehow related to this young man right here. Been Scoutmaster with the pack as well as the troop for coming up on, I'm gonna say, 12 years. 12 years, and I've truly enjoyed it. It's a great community event where the boys get together and they're able to, support each other as young men and learn what the community, what this world has to offer, and to make it better in the future when they get to Eagles, they can see what they're able to do.
And I would just say in parting, we do a lot of Eagle projects. All scouts who earn their Eagle have to do a big project that they have to manage. And they do their projects for nonprofit organizations. Could be churches, Mint Hill Historic Society. We do a lot of projects over there. So if you know any organizations that fit that category that need an Eagle project done or have some kind of need, there's not just our troop, there's other troops in Mint Hill, 144 and a few others. We're always open to more opportunities for the scouts to have impact on the community.
And we're selling barbecue next weekend?
We are selling barbecue next weekend at the rodeo.
We have very good barbecue. Y'all come have
All right,
some.
before you guys get going, I want to give each of you a town lapel pin, but I do want to give them a better round of applause than that, okay? These are some of our brightest stars in Mint Hill, and they have been active throughout COVID. Even at its height, I was sitting home, as my wife can testify, on Zoom calls with other troops and other packs and everything else throughout COVID, and doing these conversations so that they could continue to get their badges throughout the deal. So I want to make sure each one of you gets one of these. Thank you for coming. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thank you very much. Thanks for all you're doing. Have you guys got one on your trips throughout here before? Anybody need one? Robert, you need one? Yeah, here. Yeah.
That's like what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed.
I don't see it. It doesn't look like it's changed. That's okay. Here, well, let's make sure you got one anyway. We're not running short. We're not running short. Thank you very much. We appreciate what you do for the kid. Let's give him applause again. And it's just as we ask the citizens to keep coming back to our meetings and giving us their input, and I appreciate all the input this evening. And I would ask that, a lot of you said, well, this is happening in my backyard, this is happening in my backyard. Please come out when it's not happening in your backyard too, okay? Because we need that input. We'd like to hear from you about you like or you don't like what's happening over on this side of town and this side of town as well. And to the scouts, keep up the good work and keep bringing those other scouts back with you. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.